If apologies come with no change, if your truth keeps getting gaslit and their jokes just feel cruel, you're not too sensitive. You're being manipulated and conditioned to doubt yourself. Real love doesn't need you to feel small, confused, or afraid. Today, I'll walk you through 10 of the most common signs you're dealing with a narcissist so you can spot the pattern, trust your reality, and protect your peace, even if you can't leave yet. You deserve to feel safe and sane, no matter what. If you're experiencing confusing and painful treatment in a relationship, you're in the right place. My goal is to not only help you identify whether or not you're being narcissistically abused, but more importantly, empower you to do something about it. Over the years, I've helped hundreds of clients out of this maze and into a place of lasting peace, empowerment, and freedom. Now, it's your turn. To start, narcissists are selfish and self-centered to the extreme. Everything is about them. They believe the world revolves around them. All they think about is themselves. All they're concerned with is their own comfort and the fulfillment of their own wants and needs. Your comfort does not matter. Your feelings do not matter. Your preferences don't matter. Your opinion? Irrelevant. As far as they're concerned, you are only there to serve a purpose, which may very well include being their emotional punching bag. Narcissists have no problem disappointing, hurting, deceiving, and exploiting you. As long as they get their way and their needs are met, that's all that really matters to a narcissist. And this extreme selfish and self-centered nature leads directly to trait number 2. If you've ever been told you're too sensitive, you're not alone. That's what narcissists want you to believe. Meanwhile, they are completely insensitive. The effect and the very real impact their attitudes, choices, and behavior have on you doesn't even register on their radar. When you share something that hurt you, instead of comfort, they'll turn their back or roll their eyes, or worse, they'll laugh. As far as they're concerned, they should be able to do and say whatever they please, cop whatever hurtful attitude they like, lash out whenever and however they choose, with zero consideration for the impact any of this has on you. Your emotional and psychological well-being is a non-issue for the narcissist. They could care less. In fact, they actually feed off of your emotional reactivity, which is why they go out of their way to provoke you. They get a sick kick out of watching you come undone. Furthermore, they're not open to discussing what they've done to upset you. Rather, they focus entirely on your reaction. They blame and shame you for the discomfort and pain they cause. Over time, this kind of insensitivity can make you doubt your own feelings and even your sanity. But you're not crazy. This is emotional abuse. Sign number 3, they ruin special occasions. If holidays always end in drama, you're not imagining it. Narcissists deliberately sabotage special occasions like your birthday or anniversary. They also tend to be disappointing gift givers. Not always, but certainly often enough that it's worth mentioning. Imagine it's your birthday. You wake up hopeful, maybe even excited. But by noon, they've picked a fight and stormed out, leaving you in tears. Again. That's classic narcissist sabotage. They'll do the bare minimum, if anything at all, on special occasions. Unless, of course, you're being manipulated in the initial love bombing phase. Then, out comes the dog and pony show in all of its grandiosity. Otherwise, they will conveniently forget important dates and always find a way to derail holidays and special occasions. This comes back to it being all about them. Nothing can ever be about you because that would take the focus off of them, and they don't like that. For example, they can't stand that your birthday is meant to be a time to celebrate or spoil you. So they'll find a way to either ignore it or steal the spotlight, or both. One way or another, they'll be sure to take the focus off of you and make it entirely about them. Even if the attention on them is negative, for a narcissist, any attention is better than no attention. So they'll use special occasions as opportunities to pick a fight, act out, disappoint, and hurt you deeply if they can. They'll go out of their way to cause all manner of chaos and drama and then blame you for the whole ordeal, while they siphon your vital life force energy, literally feeding off of the negativity they've deliberately manufactured. Over time, this pattern can make you dread the very days that are supposed to bring you joy. Which leads us to our next point. They're controlling, even if covertly. If you're married to a narcissist, they'll attempt to control everything, including the money, how you manage your home, your time, your relationships, your children, and whether or not you work. They'll attempt to control where you go, what you do, who you spend time with, what you think, what you say, how you feel, what you believe, as well as how you look. In fact, narcissists are both completely obsessed with and perpetually dissatisfied with how you look, no matter how lean, fit, stylish, and beautiful you may be. Have you ever felt anxious about what to wear because you know no matter what you choose, they're going to criticize it? No matter how hard you try, it is never good enough. Unless, of course, you're being love-bombed, but that's just manipulation. Over time, this suffocating control can make you forget who you really are. Now, comment below and tell me whether or not you've ever had any of these experiences. Let me know in the comments section below. Also, if you'd like to learn more about the possibility of working with me in one of my coaching programs, there's a link in the description below this video where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. Now, this brings us to the next narcissistic trait. Narcissists are chronically jealous and envious. They aren't just envious of what you have, they're jealous of who you are, although they'd rather die than ever admit it. Ever notice how they sulk when you get a compliment or try to one-up you when something good happens in your life? It doesn't take much to trigger the narcissist's pathological envy. The thing is, they talk a good game, but beneath their facade, narcissists actually have very low self-esteem. Although they hide it well, they are deeply insecure, shame-based people with low self-worth. That lack of genuine self-esteem is the heart of the destructive narcissist personality. This jealous nature of theirs will often be what's behind their unwarranted and unprovoked contempt and disdain they feel toward others, including you. It's what drives many of their problematic attitudes and behaviors. Over time, this relentless envy can make you afraid to share your wins, or even feel guilty for your own happiness. Also, be aware of their tendency to project their own jealousy. In their mind, everyone is jealous of them. They can't conceive of how it could be otherwise, given that they literally go through life racked with envy and jealousy themselves. Which brings us to the next big problem: cheating. Ever caught them texting someone else only to be accused of being paranoid? I think it's clear that in order for anyone to be able to engage in extramarital affairs and betray the bonds of a committed relationship, especially if it's an ongoing pattern year in and year out, considering all of the gaslighting and deception that's required to pull this off, one has to have, among other things, an enormous sense of entitlement. In order for an individual to be capable of chronic cheating, the very real impact the affair would have on their partner or spouse, should they ever find out, is clearly of no consequence to the narcissist, which smacks of a colossal lack of empathy and conscience, in addition to an exaggerated sense of entitlement. People who cheat tend to only feel remorse once they've been caught, not while actively pursuing or engaging in the affair. So, are they truly sorry for the pain they caused, or just sorry they got caught? Big difference. Again, you have to be pretty empathy impaired to be able to come home, look your partner in the eye, and lie, hide, and deny the truth of what you've been up to. when the truth is you're crossing lines that decent, kind, genuinely loving, and sincerely empathetic people simply would not cross. And let's not forget, narcissists unconsciously project their own attitudes and behavior, and they do this a lot. As a consequence, they do something called confession through projection. Ever found yourself being accused of cheating, even though you know you've done nothing wrong? That's projection in action. If, out of the blue, they start accusing you of cheating when you both know full well that you are nothing but faithful to the relationship, chances are really good you're being cheated on. And I understand that may be a painful pill to swallow. Facing the truth is hard, but staying in denial doesn't help you. It only prolongs the pain. The truth, painful as it may be, is actually your path to lasting peace and freedom. And this leads us on to number 7, chronic disrespect. Now, you know this trait well because you've likely been treated to a healthy dose of indifference, at the very least, if not a regular dose of emotional and verbal abuse, or, God forbid, worse. Narcissists criticize every little thing about you. Nothing is ever good enough. If you're married to one, they'll minimize the effort you put into caring for and raising your children and managing the household. They'll invalidate you and your feelings at every opportunity. They'll even feel entitled to mock and shame you in front of others, including their friends and family, if they think they can get away with it. Ever had your partner roll their eyes or make a joke at your expense just to knock you down a peg or two and keep you in your place? They take cheap shots as a means of keeping you in line and propping themselves up with a false sense of superiority. They know full well the more you tolerate their disrespect, the less you respect yourself. And that serves them, as you're more likely to stay put and continue to take the abuse if you struggle with self-worth issues, which is the inevitable outcome of being on the receiving end of such chronic disrespect. It's very difficult to love, value, honor, and care for yourself in any real way when you allow yourself to be mistreated. And let me give you some tough love here. Having a high tolerance for inappropriate behavior and emotional abuse does not make you kind or spiritual. It makes you a doormat and an enabler of abuse. And I promise you, that is not what God intended for you. If this sounds familiar, the real truth is you have work to do. And the sooner you do your own work, the sooner you can live the life you are actually meant to be living. So give yourself the gift. You deserve it. Next, narcissists are emotionally manipulative. And one way this shows up is this. They behave badly and then blame you for their bad behavior. If you weren't so this, or if you were more of that, then they wouldn't have to be so awful. Ever found yourself apologizing for their outbursts even though you did nothing wrong? That's emotional manipulation in action. It's all your fault that they treat you the way they do. Always. No matter what has gone on or how badly they've behaved, you're the one to blame. They also manipulate you with guilt and shame to keep you compliant, if they think they can get away with it. Again, nothing you ever do is good enough. Furthermore, anything you've shared with them about yourself, your family, your past can and will be used against you. Narcissists love to use your disclosures to hurt, diminish, demean, manipulate, dominate, and as I said, control you. It's emotional manipulation and abuse. If you have any self-respect, this will inevitably drive you to the point of ending the relationship, at which time the narcissist will do their level best to reel you back in with love bombing, full apologies, and empty promises. And make no mistake, this is emotional manipulation. It's what's known as the narcissistic abuse cycle, which goes as follows: idealize, devalue, and discard. And you are being emotionally manipulated through all 3 stages of this cycle. If this resonates with you, it's important that you realize the degree to which you are being manipulated, as well as the extent to which you need to heal from the effects of narcissistic abuse. Which leads us to number 9. With the exception of the love bombing phase, narcissists are emotionally avoidant. And this can be confusing because narcissists can also be extremely seductive when they want to be. So, how is it that they're emotionally avoidant? Well, unless they're motivated for whatever reason and you're being seduced or love bombed, you can't get close. They're fundamentally emotionally unavailable and incapable of real, authentic intimacy. In other words, you can't connect in a real, lasting, healthy, and genuinely loving way. Ever had a night where you finally felt close, only to wake up the next day to coldness or distance you can't explain? This cycle of hope and rejection can leave you feeling unworthy, anxious, and desperate for scraps of affection and attention. Just when you think you're getting through to them or getting closer somehow, they'll sabotage whatever good may be going on in the relationship. They withdraw for no apparent reason and enjoy using withholding behavior to not only keep you at a distance, but also keep you second-guessing yourself. Your attempts to connect in any real way are met with you being told that you're too needy or clingy. And just when you pull away, because you can't take the rejection anymore, they suddenly move towards you. The whole relationship becomes a game of chase. Someone's always running and someone's always chasing. Someone's always running and someone's always chasing. If this sounds like your life, understand this is not a healthy relationship and it isn't going to get better from here. Which brings us to the next big problem. You're dealing with a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde personality. You never know who's going to show up. Ever found yourself holding your breath as you hear the key in the door, wondering which version of them is coming home tonight? You may even spend a lot of time walking on eggshells, waiting for the other shoe to drop. They can change on a dime. 1 minute all is well, the next, the energy shifts, their jaw clenches, and you're trying to figure out what set them off. In fact, you probably spend a lot of time and energy managing your environment, trying to avoid setting them off. It's exhausting. And this kind of unpredictability can leave you anxious, exhausted, and always on guard, never able to truly relax or feel safe in your own home. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. People with a destructive narcissist personality pattern do not change. And nothing changes if nothing changes. So if that's the case, what do you do? Well, if you're just waking up to the fact that someone in your life has narcissistic traits, you're likely a good candidate for my 8-week transformational coaching program, the Freedom Class. The Freedom Class is a rapid results recovery roadmap specifically designed to teach you how to take your power back while also giving you the tools to heal from narcissistic abuse so you can begin to set boundaries with the difficult people in your life and start living your best life in peace, confidence, and freedom. If you're ready to stop walking on eggshells and you want to take your power back, check the link below this video to apply for a free consultation call. Now that you know the 10 most common signs of narcissistic abuse, if you're ready to stop second-guessing yourself and reclaim your peace, watch this next video where I'll show you exactly what to say to shut down a narcissist for good.